Hello, I'm Statman Cam, and in this video we'll be comparing Jose Mourinho's runners-up to Ole's tricky Reds. Now, if you do enjoy this video, please do share it with as many people as you possibly can. We're so close to that 1,000 subs mark, and it will mean everything to me if we can get there as soon as possible. But without further ado, let's get into the video, and let's find out whether there has been progress made under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So first of all, a quick recap of how the season's panned out. Mourinho's team finished as runners-up in the league, only behind Manchester City, whereas Solskjaer's team finished in third place, behind both Manchester City and Liverpool. In terms of points tally, Mourinho's men picked up 81 points and Solskjaer's boys picked up 66, a decline of 15. Now, if you look at the key players from those two seasons, under Jose Mourinho, the key players were David De Gea, Romelu Lukaku and Paul Pogba. De Gea saving pretty much everything that was thrown at him in one of the best seasons I've ever seen from a goalkeeper. Romelu Lukaku scored a lot of goals for United and Pogba created a lot of goals and assists. Under Solskjaer this season though, the key men have been Marcus Rashford, who carried the team on his back for months. You've got Bruno Fernandes, who's completely changed the landscape of how United were playing when he came in January. And finally, you've got Anthony Martial, who's made that number 9 shirt his own. He's scored 17 goals in the league, and that's with him being out injured for 2 months. We'll now take a look at the defensive side of the game and see how United have gone from being reactive to being proactive. On first glance, it would seem United did worse defensively under Solskjaer, since they conceded more goals, conceding 36 this season, compared with just 28 under Jose Mourinho. However, if you look at the expected goals against, Mourinho's men conceded 40.1, whereas Solskjaer's men conceded fewer, 37.7. Now the expected goals are measured from the positions shots are taken from by opponents, so this suggests overall Solskjaer's men in fact did a better job of restricting opponents to fewer and lower quality shots. Now, if you look at the difference between the expected goals against and the actual goals against, you can see Solskjaer's men have roughly equalled their expected goals with the actual goals they've conceded, whereas Mourinho's men conceded far fewer goals than they were expected to. In terms of explanation for this, there is only one man, and that is David De Gea. As I said earlier, De Gea had an absolutely brilliant season, and he was by far the best goalkeeper in the world. If you remember that game against Arsenal, where De Gea pretty much was that defence, that terrific double save from Sanchez and Lacazette. But unfortunately, this has proved unsustainable. You can now see why. Looking at this chart, you can see De Gea's decline in the last few seasons in terms of his shot stopping. In that 17-18 season, he conceded 12 goals fewer than expected, based on the post-shot expected goals. Whereas recently, he's averaging about 3 goals less than the post-shot expected goals, which is a significant drop-off in performance. This explains why Mourinho's form was unsustainable and why Solskjaer's men, when you look at the expected goals conceded this season, are doing better defensively than Mourinho's men. Furthermore, if we now look at the defensive approaches employed by both coaches, despite having more possession, Solskjaer's men have more tackles per 90 minutes and more pressures attempted as well. The increase in these two metrics shows the difference between Solskjaer's vision and Mourinho's. Mourinho's men preferred to be reactive and control the space, whereas Solskjaer's men defensively like to go after the ball. If we now look at the location of these defensive actions, first up with the tackles, you can see more of the tackles under Solskjaer as a percentage were made in the middle and attacking thirds compared with the defensive third under Mourinho. Looking at the pressures, you can see this difference is exacerbated even further. Far fewer pressures in the defensive third under Solskjaer as a percentage, whereas there are a lot more in the middle third and attacking third. So as well as being more proactive, trying to seek out the ball and win the ball back, rather than merely controlling the space, Solskjaer's men are doing this higher up the pitch as well, closer to the opposition's goal, meaning the attacking transition is easier. Speaking of attacking transitions, having looked at the defensive side of the game and seen the big shifts in perspective from Mourinho to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we'll now transition ourselves to look at the attacking side of the game. So, on the attacking side, just like for the defensive side, if you take it at face value, United scored 68 goals under Mourinho, compared with just 66 under Solskjaer. However, this doesn't tell the full story. If you look at United's expected goals, under Mourinho it was 57.6 and under Solskjaer it was 59.8. So, based off expected goals, you'd actually expect United to have scored more goals this season than they did under Mourinho. This matches up with what we saw from United in the first half of the season especially. There were 10 separate games in which United outscored the opposition on expected goals but failed to turn that into points. Looking at some more detailed metrics now, you can see a big change in attacking philosophies. Solskjaer's men played more than twice the number of through balls per 90 minutes compared with Mourinho's men, and played 20% more switches of play, whilst the reliance on crosses has dropped somewhat, playing 20% fewer per 90 minutes, which makes sense when you've lost Lukaku. In the numbers, you can also see how Ole's men have been allowed to express themselves far more than Mourinho's boys. Solskjaer's boys dribble past opponents far more often than Mourinho's men. 13.3 times per 90 on average, compared with just 11.4 under Mourinho. Looking at nutmegs, Solskjaer's men have racked up 39 for the season, compared with just 18 under Mourinho. In this respect, Solskjaer's men are in fact one of the best teams in Europe. Now, whilst nutmegs isn't necessarily a key ingredient of a title-winning team, it does show you that the players are being allowed to express themselves and have more fun on the pitch. And that's reflected in what we see every day. The training pictures, the smiles, the celebrations together when they score, the team spirit and the culture shift that Solskjaer has brought shines through in every aspect of his team on the pitch. So, next time someone tells you that United have gone backwards since Mourinho's runners-up and that Solskjaer hasn't brought the club forwards, you can tell them, on the surface, maybe, but dig a little bit deeper and you'll see. Or you can tell them, come watch this video and drop a sub down below. In all seriousness, thank you so much to every one of you for your support. It's been incredible lately and we're getting some serious momentum now. We're really growing as a community. So thanks so much once again for your support. I hope you've enjoyed this video and please do pass it on wherever you can. If you've got anything you want to see in future videos, drop me a DM on Twitter or Instagram. Thank you and until next time, goodbye.